Hello everyone, it's your girl BeeSparrow, and I wanted to bring up the latest on the Jeffrey Epstein. Y'all know I've been following this case. Jeffrey Epstein allegedly committed suicide, and for those of you who don't know, he was an American financier and convicted sex offender. He began his professional life as a teacher, then changed to banking and finance and sector in various roles. He developed an elite social circle and allegedly procured women and girls, many underage, to provide sexual services for himself and some of these contacts. A lot of these contacts are starting to distance themselves from Jeffrey Epstein, but I will not let them get away. I want to go over some of these people that are trying to distance themselves now from the alleged pedophile. That's what I was thinking of. Pedophile. So, let me start with this article on Joy Ito. I have an article on Joy Ito, who on Saturday just resigned from MIT due to emails that was produced by the FBI between he and Jeffrey Epstein. Joy Ito was accepting donations from Jeffrey Epstein. And so we're going to get into that as soon as I can find my article. So according to TechCrunch.com, Joy Ito and the MIT Media Lab were already facing criticism for the funding they had received from disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, and the criticism intensified after a New Yorker piece reported that Ito and others at the Media Lab worked to conceal Epstein's contributions. In an email to the university administration, Ito wrote, "After giving the matter a great deal of thought over the past several days and weeks, I think that it is best that I resign as director of the Media Lab and as a professor and employee of the institution, effective immediately." In addition to resigning as director, it has also been confirmed that Ito resigned as a professor of the university also. The matter to which the letter refers to is Ito's reported connections to Jeffrey Epstein. The financier allegedly died in prison by hanging himself on August 10th, following an arrest a month prior on federal charges of sex trafficking minors. Ito was among several high-profile and powerful people whose alleged ties to the disgraced billionaire came into sharp focus following his arrest. In the immediate aftermath of the arrest, it came to light that the MIT Media Lab and Ito personally received funds from Epstein, to which Ito apologized in an August 15th letter. The allegations against Ito intensified overnight following a report by Ronan Farrow in The New Yorker that Ito's engagement of Epstein's were far deeper than had previously been acknowledged. According to emails and documents discovered by Farrow, Ito and MIT Media Lab's head of development, Peter Cohen, worked in tandem to conceal Epstein's contributions from MIT's central fundraising office, such as by marking donations and keeping his name out of disclosure statements. Ito has long stood firm that the facts of his relationship with Epstein have been misreported. In an email to the Times, Ito said that the New Yorker piece was full of factual errors. The MIT Media Lab is a storied research center with a long legacy of contributions to science, technology, and innovation. There are no indications yet who might replace Ito. And we did talk about Jeffrey Epstein and how he was interested in donating monies to several scientists and physicists. His interest in eugenics, which is the selection of desired heritable characteristics to improve future generations. He had hoped to seed the human race with his DNA by impregnating women at his vast New Mexico ranch. And he was also he had also over the years confided in scientists and others about his scheme. He was very interested in robots and eugenics, and he donated lots and lots of money to different scientists and different physicists to produce what he called a superhuman. Mr. Epstein did not hide his interest in tinkering with genes and in perpetuating his own DNA. One adherent of transhumanism said that he and Mr. Epstein discussed the finance's interest in cryonics, an unproven science in which people's bodies are frozen to be brought back to life in the future. Mr. Epstein told this person that he wanted his head and penis to be frozen. Now, a lot of people are trying to distance themselves from the financier. You know, when he was alive and doing well and giving up all this money, they were his friends. But now that he's being exposed about having sex with underage girls and participate in sex trafficking underage girls, people are trying to distance themselves from him. Eliot Spitzer, former governor of New York. Epstein donated to Spitzer's gubernatorial campaign in 2005. Spitzer returned the money after Epstein was charged. Prince Andrew, Duke of York. We all know that Virginia Giuffre, who was a victim of Epstein, has claimed that she has had sex with the Duke of York after being recruited as Epstein's alleged sex slave as a teenager. Of course, the Duke of York is denying this, but that has not stopped some of his engagements, some of the people that he's engaged with, these companies. That does not stop them from distancing themselves. Some of Prince Andrew's engagements have been canceled, or people have just cut him out of certain engagements that they just did not want to be associated with. The FBI seized this infamous photo of Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre, who was one of Epstein's accusers. And it's reported that Prince Andrew is saying that that photo is fake. He goes on to turn off his comments on his Instagram amid this Jeffrey Epstein fallout. And as I mentioned before, he has been axed from certain events over ties to Jeffrey Epstein. George Mitchell, former ally and associate of Jeffrey Epstein. He's a former U.S. Senate Majority Leader. In 2002, Mitchell described Epstein as a friend and said Epstein donated to his philanthropic projects. Bill Richardson, former allies and associate, former governor of New Mexico, Epstein donated to both of Richard's gubernatorial campaigns, and Richard visited Epstein's Santa Fe mansion once that we know of. We have Alan Dershowitz, who was Epstein's former lawyer, Peggy Siegel, who was his publicist and helped him to rehabilitate himself after his prison relief or jail release in 2010. Leon Black, we mentioned him, who is a financer. Epstein served as director of Black's Foundation, and that's called the Leon Black Foundation. Epstein served as director until 2012. Glenn and Eva Anderson Dubin. Eva Anderson Dubin is a doctor and a former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein. Her husband, Glenn Dubin, they were social with Epstein after his release from jail in 2010. Glenn Dubin is also a financer. Marvin Minsky, MIT scientist. Minsky arranged 2 conferences at Epstein's private island, one in 2002 and one in 2011. Lawrence Krauss, physicist. Krauss had a meeting with multiple physicists and Epstein at Epstein's private island in 2006. As I mentioned before, Epstein was very interested in eugenics and genes and superhumans and all this kind of stuff. He donated a lot of money to a lot of scientists, a lot of physicists, a lot of labs. So Donald Trump, and beside Donald Trump's name, instead of saying that Donald Trump was a former ally and associate, this is saying social network. Donald Trump was a part of his social network. Donald Trump was a part of Jeffrey Epstein's social network. Trump and Epstein were neighbors in Palm Beach in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Trump threw Epstein a, quote, calendar girl, quote, party, unquote, at his Mar-a-Lago resort in 1992, according to the New York Times. Donald Trump is another one of those who has been trying to distance himself from Jeffrey Epstein since all these things have been coming out. But they were friends. Epstein made several appearances at Mar-a-Lago. He attended a party there with NFL cheerleaders in 1992, where he was videotaped by an NBC News crew gathering footage for a segment on Trump. The network recently released the footage in which Trump greets Epstein warmly and whispers in the financer's ear, leading Epstein to double over in laughter. Photographs and videos show Epstein and Trump posing together at the mansion in 1992, 1997, and 2000. The two were also pictured together with the model Ingrid Sigani in 1997 at a Victoria's Secret party in New York City. There's also, around that time, Trump flew at least once in the late 1990s or 2000 on Epstein's private plane from Florida to New York. They were good friends. He's trying to distance himself. Donald Trump, according to Mark Epstein, who is Jeffrey's brother, he's trying to distance himself. Trump used to comp Epstein's mother and aunt at one of Trump's Atlantic City casino hotels. You know, they were friends. There's a picture here of Donald Trump and Melanie Trump and what's her name? Maxwell, the girl, Ghislaine Maxwell, the alleged madam and former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein. You are trying so hard, Donald Trump, to cover up your friendship with Epstein, but you know what? The truth will come to light. The truth will come to light. What's done in the dark will be brought to light. Okay? So there are other people who's trying to distance themselves from Jeffrey Epstein. And as long as he was alive and had all that money and no one knew about his sexual escapades, people remained his friend. But as soon as, stuff hit the fan and his lifestyle is coming to light, people are scurrying along like roaches when you turn on the lights. Alan Greenberg, financer, helped Epstein get a job at Bear Stearns, where Greenberg was the chairman of the executive committee. He's trying to distance himself. Adam Perry, chef. The flight logs indicate that Lang flew on Epstein's private jet multiple times. Sarah Kellen Vickers, who's Epstein's former assistant. They're all trying to distance themselves. Murray Gell-Mann, physicist, attended Epstein's events and thanked them for financially supporting his book. All of this is according to MSN.com. These people are trying to distance themselves from Jeffrey Epstein, and more people will try to distance themselves. But as I said before, what's done in the dark will be brought to light. You people will be caught, and you will pay for what you've done to these young girls, one way or the other. Jeffrey Epstein was not in this by himself. People knew what was going on. Now that it's coming to light, people are scurrying like roaches. Thank you guys for listening. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. It's your girl, BeeSparrow, Buzz Tweet Radio. Holla.